Go.
Oh, apparently we're live. Yeah, I'm just loving some of the
Professional
comments.
start, as always.
I'm just loving the
Jesus.
comments. Yeah, technical difficulties. They always get us. You know, can't do anything about that.
Us? Us?
Yeah, it was myself and Ryman that had the technical difficulties. It definitely wasn't just me fanning around with a microphone. Yeah. Well, we're here, and you know, it's good to laugh because, you know, the football hasn't exactly given us much to smile about, has it? But welcome, one and all, to the fan phone-in. We do this every Sunday night, 9 p.m. It's good to have you along with us, and someone else it's good to have along with us. It's my co-host. It's the beautiful Mark Ryman. How we getting on?
You must be drinking. Yeah. Well, you know, I've been better. That's cheered me up actually. I've been in a rotten mood since Saturday afternoon, as I imagine most people have. It's shocking. I mean, you say this, we do this every Sunday. You couldn't be more right. We do this every Sunday. Every Sunday. Word for effing word. Yeah. Yeah, there's probably a rant coming at some point. There really is. I'm just like everybody. I think I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of the same old stuff, right?
You genuinely said, we were talking about this on WhatsApp beforehand, and you genuinely said we could have literally just taken an old one and played it tonight. Yeah. To be honest, with the technical difficulties, we nearly did. We nearly did. We could have done that. Like it's wash, rinse, repeat. We're tired of it. I want to talk about some bloody wins. We've been losing for 2 years now.
I honestly, I've had enough of all of it. I've had enough of players that don't give a shit. I've had enough of a manager who's got all the personality of a cheese sandwich trying to tell us that players play in a certain position that they don't. Trying to shoehorn people into the wrong places, the wrong positions, and making terrible substitutions. I've had enough of a strength and conditioning fitness team that injures more players than it gets fit. I mean, they're all injured at the brace. They're not even injured on the pitch anymore. I've had enough of the recruitment, which is good players, but a scattergun approach without any leadership. And most of all, I've had enough of a CEO who can't admit that you can't do everything, and is prioritising a stadium, which would be amazing, over anything else that happens on the pitch. And as a result, we are sliding our way down the leagues until we wake up as a collective. We need to bloody wake up, because nothing is going to change our direction until it changes from the top.
Well said. There's a common denominator here, and it's this guy right here. He's doing a tremendous job with the stadium.
Yes.
Everything on the non-footballing side, he is doing an absolutely tremendous job. He has ego. He has hubris. He has no idea what he's doing on the football side. He thinks he has it all figured out. And everything has this moneyball approach to it. The signings. We're not signing people with an eye on what we need now. We're signing players with an eye on, ooh, he'll be a player. Ooh, we'll turn a profit on him. Ooh, he's going to turn out to be a fine player. And the manager. Last season, we said it before Bloomfield was appointed. We need a manager that could get us out of the shit now. Mm-hmm. We need to turn this around now. And they made the change too late. From nice guy Rob to, what do you call him, a cheese sandwich? Cheese sandwich Matt. And we needed the change now. We needed it then. Because it was already too late. So we needed someone that had enough of, you know, could cut the bullshit that was just running through the club, running through the players, and turned it around then and there. And we didn't get that. We got a project manager. It's all about the project. But while you're looking essentially 2 streets ahead, you're not looking at the car that's about to smash into you at 50 miles an hour.
100%. And also, I would argue, what is the project? I don't, Matt Bloomfield, I completely agree. We agreed at the time, wrong manager for the time, right? We both said it. Whether we said it on the pod or not, I can't remember, but we definitely said it to each other. Now, but even if we're going down the route of, all right, but he's a project manager, what is the project? Can you see, when you go and watch us on a Saturday, 12:30, at Sinsel Bank, can you see what the project's meant to be? Because I haven't got a Scooby as to what the end result needs to be. We said the exact same thing under Rob Edwards. What is the aim? What are we trying to do? Because, as you said, we bought all these players probably with that in mind. And yet we play a formation that doesn't suit them. The players don't know where each other are. Their players don't know what they're supposed to be doing on the pitch. I could swallow this. I could swallow bad results and everything else if I could see the direction we were going in. If I could say, right, well, at the start of the season, defensively we were really tight. We needed to work on our attacking play, but defensively
that's
we
gone
were tight.
Backwards.
Well, we've conceded 6 goals in 2 games, and if you actually
all mistakes.
Exactly. In the games where we didn't concede, you look at the Wigan game, we should have by rights have conceded at least 2 goals in that game. Right? Wimbledon didn't get out of their own half. And Peterborough are by far and away the worst side in the league, with Burton very close behind it. So actually, that was a false dawn. And attacking wise, the only time we've looked fluent in attack is in 45 minutes in the first half against a Paul Barnett League Two side. What's the project?
Yeah, the project that I can see is get to Power Court. That is the only thing on the minds of the board right now. By the board, I mean Gary Sweet, because the board, they're just like sycophantic yes men. David Wilkinson, I've met him loads of times. He's a lovely guy, but he's not the brains of the operation. He's literally Gary Sweet is the mastermind, the brains of the operation. Everyone else is there just doing what Gary says. And I think that is the end project, is get to Power Court. And they're thinking, oh yeah, well, we got a safe enough pair of hands to deal with it, but we haven't patched things up here and now. Even now, Hamady, who's like a here and now player, he's not going to be available until November.
He's not going to solve the problem either. One player,
no, you can't get the ball to the strikers.
He's another player out of confidence. In terms of Gary Sweet, look, I'm, in terms of the Power Court stuff, look, I'm really, really happy that Power Court's happening. Don't get me wrong, and I've not been one of those to worry too much about the size of the stadium. I get now, obviously, we're sliding down the leagues, it's looking more and more silly, but I wasn't worried about that. I wasn't worried about the extra spending on it. I think it's going to be a great stadium and it'll be great for the town. And when it opens, he deserves credit for that. But it feels like to me that he feels like he's done a Pelly Ruddock and completed the football side of thing in the Premier League, and so he could just take his eye off the ball, which I'm okay with if he gets a director of football in, if he gets people in instead to do it. But instead, he won't relinquish that control, but he also doesn't want to focus on it either. You can't have that both ways. It's so patently obvious that is what's happening, regardless of, nobody needs insider knowledge to see this. And I just don't get it. I don't get, as a fan of the football club, because he is, right? He's a fan of the football club. Whatever we think of him as a person, or whatever he might be like as a person, I don't know. I've only met the guy very briefly in an away pub a very, very long time ago. But, as a fan of the football club, you can see what's happening. And you can't keep that going. You surely have to look at it and go, we need to cut our losses with the way things are working and move on. But it's just no sign of it. There's been no change.
No. No, there really hasn't. I'm at a loss for words. Let's
Yeah.
get some comments from
Yeah,
people
sorry.
before we get a caller in. Hello everyone. Thank you all for sticking around
Yeah.
during
Great
technical
comments already.
difficulties. Yeah, loads of comments. Yeah. Oh wow, going all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Stevie Kilgore. I'll ask Gary Sweet to buy Ollie a new laptop. No chance. No chance. Don't think he's a fan. Yeah, smashed up my mic because of the result. I think that's fair. Is the clown music before the stream starts for the show or the football on the pitch? And people saying I have. It's not the internet that's the problem. It's the hardware that I'm operating that's the problem. Matt says, I'll answer your question. It wasn't just the worst performance of the season. It was the most spineless performance since Reading away under Graham Jones.
Yeah, it's pretty. I put it at a line with West Brom under Matt as well, to be honest. But at least we scored 3 goals in that game, I guess.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Hope all is well. Missing your championship predictions. Yeah. Sorry, Hector. Just life.
Life got in the way a bit.
Life got in the way. New job for me. Promotion for Ryman. We don't have the time. There's not enough time in the week, and we both got kids, and there is no time. There's not enough time. It's hard enough talking about Luton Town right now. Stevie, Ollie just doing some breathing exercises before the uses all of lung capacity. Stevie Kilgore, what is wrong with your grammar? Yeah, before he uses all lung capacity to annihilate everyone at the club. Yeah, already had a little go.
I did that bit
at the
actually.
start there. Yeah, and Bryman as well.
I took over for that from you. Yeah.
Yeah, from Lewis M. It's beginning to look like League Two is looming. Now, I don't think we're getting relegated.
Well, no, but I listen. I mean, there's nothing to stop us going in that direction over the next few seasons. There isn't,
Yeah.
And let's not make the same mistakes that we did last season. And just assume that things are just going to turn around because we've got a good squad and everything else. But yeah, a couple of other comments I saw in there. Kelvin Beach said we made a great player, Naki Wells, into Naki Unwells. Very good. But I think he's not alone. There's a few players that I'd put in that category, including Josh Keeley, that who look like they're getting worse, not better.
Yep.
Makosso,
coaching. That's
Anderson,
coaching for you right there.
Wells, there's that's what I mean. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Has Mengi been taking distribution lessons from Walsh? Yeah, well, quite. But for me, like, Mengi was never the answer. Throw him straight in as well tells me everything about where Matt Bloomfield is at. I struggle with that. I really do. But maybe that's just my own opinion of him. There's a Lincoln fan, a couple of Lincoln fans on the chat. Look, I say this now because we are going to be ranting about Luton. Lincoln were fantastic and well deserved their win, so all credit to them. And what the other thing that really struck me is that I never thought, and I mean this with all due respect to James Collins, who I absolutely love as a footballer and did brilliant things for us, but I never thought after he left us for Cardiff, I think he left us for. Before he ended up at Derby and stuff. I never thought I'd be watching James Collins play for an opposition and being jealous that he wasn't playing for us again after seeing him in the Luton shirt for the last season and Adebayo taking over. I just never thought I'd see it. Or arguably Sonny Bradley as well. And that shows how...
Do you think that was a charity miss? Do you think that was a charity miss from Sonny Bradley?
I mean, it must have been. I don't know how he did it. But I never thought I'd sit there, and I honestly, I don't mean any disrespect for those two players who did wonders for us, but I never thought I'd sit there and miss them playing for us at that point in their careers. It says a lot about where we've come.
Yeah, ironic that we let those players go because we had outgrown them as a club, and here they are, absolutely bossing us. Just shocking, absolutely shocking,
absolutely. But no, Lincoln were very good and certainly deserved their 3-1. Probably it should have been 2-0, really. We offered basically nothing apart from the goal. Very, very good team who fought us, outplayed us, did everything really that Bradford did, and we were arguably even worse than we were against Bradford at the same time. So, fair play to them.
anyone that we play against who's going to be in and around the top half of the table, just completely,
Yeah.
we struggle, and I said it in my post match, link in the description below if you want to watch it afterwards. Anyone that sits back in a low block, we can't break them down. Anyone that plays against us, they outplay us. It's simple as that, because we're second to every ball. We don't win our tackles, don't win our aerials. I think Nigel Longwick, I think I saw his numbers yesterday, didn't win one aerial ball, which is
He was poorly.
absolutely staggering for a
Another
man
player
that's
that's gone
6'5".
downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also out of position.
Did you hear what Jordan?
Also out of position.
Exactly. Did you hear what Jordan Clark said?
Yeah.
It completely contradicts what Cal Naismith said the week before. As in, there's no alignment. They don't even know what they're complaining about at the moment. I don't even, changing the manager is not even going to make a difference, because ultimately it comes down. The rot is so far set in from above. And we were talking about this before. Like, do you think it's a case of Bloomfield wants to do something completely different, but Recruitment and Gary Sweet are choosing to do something completely different and not communicating?
Well, I think that no evidence of this, but when you have two managers that have exactly the same issues with formation and players without any confidence, with a brand new squad, by the way, now. So, we're not talking about the same squad that got relegated and all the stuff that we had an excuse for Rob, almost coming out with identical press conferences at this point as well about low confidence in the side. I mean, you could have just shown me that game and replaced, Lincoln with, I don't know, Sheffield. I would have said Sheffield Wednesday. We did all right against them, Oxford or whoever, QPR last season, and I'd have absolutely believed that was just a Rob Edwards post match and performance. And then Rob Edwards. It's not Rob Edwards now gives Borough their best start to a season in their entire history, and they're playing fantastic football and winning games at the same time. Well, maybe they will. Look, me and you both don't believe that Rob is the Messiah, but at the same time,
he's a very naughty boy.
Exactly, but at the same time, it's not a coincidence, surely, that without that, I know he's got arguably better players, but on paper at the start of that season, he had a decent squad. Bloomfield was flying at Wickham before he came to us. Is it just them? It can't just be them. I'm not exonerating either of them. They both needed to go, and a lot earlier. But and
we've
for
just
me,
become Stoke. We've become Stoke, haven't we?
Yeah,
we're like a poisoned chalice.
Yeah, but Stoke never got relegated from the Championship, did they?
Yeah, exactly.
They've tried their best, but they never
some
did.
Absolute basket cases in the Championship, and we still just slip right through the trap door. Like all the everyone laughing at Watford, everyone laughing at Sheffield Wednesday, everyone laughing at Stoke, everyone laughing at Cardiff. Well, Cardiff went down, but it took them a few seasons. Basket case owners, basket case clubs, and we're the other than Cardiff, we went down. It's absolutely mad. Like there's something toxic going on at the club. Gary Sweet needs to be removed from the football side completely, because I said it in the post match. We're just a property development company with a football team right now. That's how I feel it.
And the way he's treated fans recently as well is at odds with the way that he did at the start of his tenure too. This just wouldn't have happened. Refusing to communicate, refusing to talk to fans, allowing this kind of discourse to happen, allowing us to make assumptions about what's going on in the club because you don't bloody tell us anything despite learning your lessons from last season, right? If you actually came out and did an open forum with fans or the media that isn't the in-house media, and it's not when either a manager gets sacked or we open up a river, like come out and speak to fans in that and justify what has happened over the last 24 months. I think it would do a lot to repair some of the damage, because I don't think any of us want to be in the position where we're slating 2020, but you can't live off your past achievements. That cannot be forever your, card to be able to do whatever and results to go against you. It doesn't work like that. You are always judged on the most recent things that you do. Managers are. I don't think CEOs should be any different. And he needs to front up. He really does, because everyone's sick of it. And it will come out in the next home game. If we have a poor result against Doncaster, it's going to kick off big time.
Yeah, I genuinely see that it will. I don't see a win in that game because Donny are flying at the moment, and the
Yeah.
the lack of confidence. I don't understand how the confidence can be shot 8 games into a season. Like,
Well,
how are these players so fragile? How are these players so fragile mentally that can't the manager like pick them all up and say, sort yourselves out, dust yourselves down? Pathetic.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of people are saying the same thing in the chat as well. Why do we, Tom Mollett, why do we have low confidence? We have a new set of players from last year and we have won some games this season. Yeah, 4 out of 8 games. And before the Plymouth game, we were all feeling confident. We'd won 2 games on the bounce, including the trophy game, but still scoring, 7 goals in 2 games. There's no reason for it. Poor leadership, top to bottom. Yeah, exactly what we've been saying. It really is. And it shows when people like Jordan Clark come out with an interview like that as well. He doesn't know what to say. He's been wheeled out enough times. How many times has that bloke had to do it, as well? I feel a bit for him. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's part to blame as well. He didn't. No one had a good game. At least he scored. And had a crack. But yeah. He doesn't know what to say anymore, does he?
No. It was completely at odds of what Naismith said. David Coop says it was strange Makoso being thrown under the bus by Matt Bloomfield yesterday, revealing an internal issue. These things are normally kept in house. Does it really matter that he was late to a team meeting? Because by all accounts of what I saw on the pitch, it doesn't look like any tactics were actually discussed. Like I don't understand.
He missed their playing 3. We knew that.
Yeah. What did he miss? What did he miss? They're gonna go long to the right hand side because that's where they're gonna win their balls.
Well, he's
playing gonna get knocked down. Yeah. Like what was he gonna miss? Like, couldn't you have just caught him up instead of playing Mengi, who had played 45 minutes in a behind closed door friendly? That's not gonna help a 21-year-old's confidence now, is it?
We're going to play it across the right hand side to Kadua, who's played previously. Oh no, he's not in the squad. Oh well, it must be Shane Morris then.
We'll play long
money from, who's the fastest guy at the club. It must be to him, right? Against Sonny Bradley, who, as much as we all love him, has got the turning circle of the worse than the QE2, the Titanic after it sunk, and yet he comes on for his cameo, demonstrates why he should have been in the squad or in the starting lineup to start with. Just tear my hair out. Just tear my hair out with it. Sorry.
As soon as that lineup came out, I thought I hope it's a back 4, and I said that in our group. I hope it's a back 4 because that is the only way that works. And then you look at it, the way we lined up, and you could tell immediately the only direction we're going to attack is through Ali, and that is how we conceded our first goal.
Yeah,
it was so one-dimensional. We didn't even try go through anywhere else. It was literally get the ball to Ali, get the ball to Ali, get the ball to Ali. I thought we got rid of Alfie Doughty so we didn't have to keep doing the same bloody thing over and over again. It was unreal.
Yeah, it was. Right, should we get some callers on so we're not constantly...
Yeah, I've just seen the message from Kate. Says, how about letting some fans have a say?
Yeah, sorry guys.
Yeah, reminder, if you want to call in, the call link is at the top of the chat. It's also in the description below the video. Please feel free, get involved, have a chat, let us know what you think. We'll read out some comments as well. Wow, loads of comments, right? We bring in Simon.
Yeah, I'll bring him in.
Yeah, you bring him in.
Oh, right, come on.
Yeah.
Let's hear some positivity, Si.
Oh,
where's your positive take this week?
Didn't want to interrupt you both on your soapboxes there on Groundhog Day.
I'll just get down. Hold on, sorry.
I mean, what can I even say that hasn't been said week in, week out for 24 months?
I'm bored. I'm bored of saying the same bloody thing.
We have had this conversation now so many times, and we can pick on individual things, and it will be the same things we always say. But at full time of that game, I didn't go at the players. I went at Gary Sweet quite ambitiously after that full time whistle. I don't care that the river's been rerouted right now. I don't care that you're going to be piling up materials in power court at the moment. I want to see the ball in the back of the net because we are a football club, first and foremost. Not the other way around, like Ollie said, a property management firm with a football club. It's nonsense. I've had enough of the diverted attention at the top of the club, the arrogance in silence from them. Thinking, oh, nah, just put out another power court development. That'll settle down the plebs all right, won't it? I've had enough. I've been quite calm the entirety of this season. I've been, trying to look on the bright side, taking positivity in the wins that we had. But what do you mean we have lost this many games in League One already? Something is wrong. We didn't replace Alfie Doughty properly. We've got Longwick at right wing back. We are playing with a system that has failed us entirely over a sustained period of time, and I'm just fed up.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
Yeah.
For me, I feel that the system that we're just persisting with, I feel that is, I've said it so many times, that is just a remnant of Gary Sweet. I reckon he goes down there, hangs around like a bloke who's farted, dookied his pants a little bit, and is just hanging around there like a bad smell, to be honest. I don't understand why we persist with the back three. I don't understand why the recruitment didn't even cover themselves having a back four. But as you say, it's the same thing over and over again. And what we are no longer satisfied with just updates about power core. How about update about what's going on the football side? Do you guys remember, like at the end of the season where David Wilkinson, because Gary was too scared to comment on the footballing side, he said, no stone will be left unturned. We will have a full investigation. How about some updates on that? Like,
nothing.
There's been nothing. Same thing.
I posted a little clip, a screenshot of something that David Wilkinson said about how supporters should get excited for the League One season. And I've just had enough. I've had enough of this feel-good platitude nonsense. Address the problems. If you haven't got the money to spend, say it. Tell us that all the money's in power court.
We're £23 million changed hands this window.
Yeah. So we can take it, but what I can't take is this complete stonewall arrogance from the top of the football club, where you only get spoken to if you're a favoured person, if you're in with this certain person. That's the only way you get any kind of access. And even then, you get cold answers. It's ridiculous. Kieran Maguire himself didn't have many very nice things to say this season about what goes on at the top of Luton Town Football Club. We are a mess. We used to be so proud of how things were run here, and that's dead. The Luton Town way is dead. And the sooner that people come to grips with that, the better, because the identity is not there anymore.
No. Bought our own hype, full of hubris.
Where does this end, then? Sorry, Ollie.
No,
cut you off. Just where does this end? I mean, are we going to end up with another Mick Harford at Stevenage situation? Because I think, unlike then, which was nobody looks at that as positive. For me, that was one of the darkest days, particularly of 2020's reign, early on at least, and obviously came from a lot of stuff that happened before. But I can't remember people being this dissatisfied with the board since the manager idol stuff. And I am not making a comparison between those two. I'm not suggesting that we've got the same board before I get people jumping down my throat saying I'm comparing him with Gurney. But this is the sort of level of unrest that people had about the board back then. How has he managed to get himself into a position where he's gone from probably would never have to buy a drink in Luton again to this? How is that even possible?
It's odd. You can't help but feel like the smoke blown up arses during the Premier League season, rubbing shoulders with billionaires and getting told that you play a great way, and it's gone to their head. And I can't help but feel now they are just clinging on till Power Court is complete, so they can then sell the club and they can say, look, we've left Luton Town in its best ever position in history. Now's the time for someone else to come in. They make their money and off into the sunset they go. I can't help but feel that's where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably right.
Yeah.
Who's going to
like,
buy
you're-
somewhere in League Two though?
Well, with a nice new stadium, though, someone might see it as a project. But in reality, football is just a massive money pit. You know,
Yeah.
football club ownership is a money pit. All these investors, all the members of the board, they all got their money back when we got promoted. So that was a big part of where the money went,
Which
like,
I'm
when we got
fine with.
promoted.
Which I'm
that's
absolutely
fine.
fine with. By the
These
way,
guys propped us up and kept us
exactly.
going.
Yeah.
During non-league, they entirely deserve their money back.
The reason we exist, but it's fine.
Yeah. But at the same time, you know, they didn't lay out 140 million pounds or however much we received from you know, from getting promoted to the Premier League. They didn't lay out the 15 odd million that we brought in this season in transfer bits and pieces. Also that money from the Junction 10 site as well. Like I thought that went a long way in securing the finances for the new stadium. Honestly, I don't know where. I'm not saying where's the money gone, but I am saying there's been mismanagement on an absolutely huge scale for a business this size, because we are a sizable business. The amount of money that passes in and out is extraordinary, and there's just no accountability other than the accounts at the end of the season. But it's easy to like hide large sums under miscellaneous bits and pieces. It's shocking. It really is shocking.
I am concerned, and I don't want to be hyperbolic, but like after this game was probably the first time this entire season I've been outright pissed, posting what some would say negative things, whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, we're in League One and we don't look like we're going to go to the Championship based on what we're seeing right now. And considering the Billy Big Bollocks way that we operate these days, we need to be in the Championship to be financially viable in any degree. Being in League One is us shooting ourselves in both knees and putting a plaster on it. We need to get out of this league, and I will be like this until we are, because we decided this was us now. When we went up to the Premier League, when all this happened, when you cast off the Luton identity of scraping 1-0 battling wins in favour of this woke player out the back system for League One, I just can't stand it, mate. It's driving me insane.
Thank you, Simon. Really appreciate it. I love that. Great way to finish it. Woke playing out the back way. It's not Luton, is it? It's not at all.
No. Have a good week, guys.
Yeah. Take care, mate. Speak to you soon.
Sorry, I was laughing. I burst out laughing at Kevin McHugh's comment. If you're looking at it in the chat, just made me giggle anyway. So yeah, thanks for that. Some really funny bits in there. As it's an interesting.
I'll read out. In my opinion,
go on then.
We'll get it up. Persisting, in my opinion, from Kevin McHugh, persisting with back three. Someone is playing Football Manager above Matt Bloomfield's head, who is drunk on 70s continental football. Is why Matt Bloomfield looked like crying Rowley Birkin QC.
I love the Fast Show. I love the Fast Show. They're touring, by the way.
No way.
Yeah, they are. I was desperate to get tickets. They sold out like that. Anyway, on another note, but Nigel Clark. reminds me of where my club Norwich were a few years back. Yes, I remember Norwich back down into League One, but it never felt like it was going to be there for long. I don't know whether Norwich were only there for one season, weren't they, before they came back up? I can't remember. But as Leicester did, etc. There's nothing.
Yeah,
There's no divine right to stay in the league. It's fine. It's under the circumstances it's happened, and nothing improving in the meantime, which kind of helps to answer what Antonio Nardi said. Everyone's blaming the board for not talking, but what is there to say? Brought in a new manager who picks from a new squad, and they don't play football when they're on the pitch. What should they say? Well, I think it goes a bit deeper than that. As I'd said earlier, I think the communication is around what happened last season. Lots of the decisions or non-decisions that were made, and some of the recruitment this season as well.
Not being in line with the way Bloomfield plays.
100%. And questions need to be asked. And we've gone from a board who would happily communicate with fans to a board that refuses to. And for us, that's, as I was saying before, means that whether it's true or not, it leaves gaps for people to draw their own conclusions. It's usually a pretty negative when we've just been spanked at Sinsel Bank by Lincoln, where 2 years ago we were, what were we doing at this point 2 years ago? Beating Everton away from home at Goodison Park, I believe, roughly around this time 2 years ago. Jesus, it doesn't feel like 2 years, does it?
How the mighty have fallen. I took my kid to football training in the park, football stuff, and I was wearing a Luton Town jacket, and there was another guy there with Arsenal. His kid was Arsenaled out, he was Arsenaled out, and he was like, "Oh, Luton, oh, that's a story." I was like, "Yeah, don't tell me." This was before we played Lincoln. I was like, "Yeah, 2 years ago we were playing Arsenal. Later today we're playing Lincoln."
Yeah. Here we go.
I know it's not disparaging to Lincoln at all. They absolutely schooled us, but it does say a lot about the management of the club, like how our owners can't be thoroughly embarrassed with how they have taken the club.
Yeah,
the players, everyone associated with the club. This is the furthest I felt in terms of involvement with the club.
100%.
I've tried my best to get involved with the club as best I can. I do things with Hatters Heritage. We were at the club for the 120th anniversary. Saw Gary Sweet walk around. No one from the club came to say hello to anyone from Hatters Heritage. And that included Roger Wash, who has been the club historian for over 40 years. No one came to say hello. Considering they wouldn't have even known it was the 120th anniversary if Hatters Heritage had not tweeted about it. And furthermore, you know all the tweets that say happy birthday so-and-so from the club page, they wouldn't know all these. They get them from Hatters Heritage. It's honestly disgraceful. And not one credit for Hatters Heritage and the good work that Roger Wash, Will, Brian, the rest of the trustees are doing. It's pathetic. Just the club and the media filled with pathetic little worm men at the moment. Right, let's get someone else in before I say something that I truly regret. We got Mark on. Good evening, Mark. How you doing?
Great name.
Bad, guys. I can't say I watched yesterday's match. It was 7:30 a.m. kickoff here in the States, and I had a night before. So missed the alarm. Checked the flash score and was kind of thankful I slept through it. But yeah, so I guess obviously I'm American, so I've spoke to you guys before. I don't know if you guys remember, but I picked Luton for the way the club is run. When I got into this sport and I heard of the Luton story, when of course I joined, I guess, the Luton family when they got promoted. So it kind of comes off as a glory hunting thing, but in no way did I ever think we would stay there. My thing was we're going to go down, probably. And this club is run in a way that, I can be a fan of this team, that has a great history and it's run the right way. That's the biggest thing for me. Always with a limited budget. That's just attractive to me when the sport. I enjoy the English pyramid. But what I've seen the last 2 years, just as a newer fan, I don't have all the answers or know everything. Genuinely, I'm asking what has happened. What has happened?
We're asking the same question.
it's like I get the stadium thing, but like you guys, like just tell us, like if all the money's gone, just tell us. Like we're playing a formation where we don't have the players to play. Like, I'm in America. I'm sitting there watching, and we're playing this 3 at the back, and we don't have the players to do it.
Yeah,
Ali is
arguably
not.
we don't. We
Like,
don't have the players to play 3 at the back, let
Yeah.
alone 4 at the back. This is the thing as well. We don't even have any wing backs either. Certainly not
Yeah.
fit. So even if we wanted to play that system, arguably, you're not telling me Shaden Morris is a wing back.
Not at all.
That man is not
Not
a
at
wing
all.
back. Neither is
Neither's
Ali.
Ali. Neither's Lundvik.
Yeah, definitely not.
It's
Lundvik.
yeah.
Well, just
it's,
send me in there to talk to the team. Yeah, I'll give them a bollocking, and I'll tell them just do the bloody basics. 4-4-2. Just stand in a line. Like, honestly, I don't look. You say, like, do we know what's going on? We have no bloody clue what's going on. Like, we took a manager that was having some success with Wickham. He obviously did a very good job with Wickham, and by some reason, the system that was working for him, he's not playing it here. And the recruitment staff who get their line from Gary Swibber, who they can and can't go for, they haven't recruited any people for him to play in the system that he plays. Honestly, it makes no sense. We're clueless. Well, we don't know, and nothing is being spoken about from Gary Sweet. We mentioned it before. The searching questions, the inquiry that was set at the end of last season. Nothing's come of it. But honestly, it's gotten to the point where there should be an open fan forum, and certain people should be invited to ask questions, or like at the very least, let people who aren't in the pocket of the club converse and ask these questions. Like James Cunliffe, he's not going to be asking any hard hitting questions, is he? Like Jeff Doyle's questions were good though, weren't they? But Mark, how long are you going to stick with the club then? Are you going to stick with us if we go down to League Two?
I'll stick with the club through non-league. I'm very serious. Like I love Luton, and I love everything the club stands for. I love the way it was run. That's why I think it's bad when you have an American come on here who's, this is my 3rd full season supporting Luton, and it's so easy to see that this is just not the same football club that I found the love with at first. There's something wrong. I just don't understand that when Doughty went, Doughty was my personal favorite player. And when he went, I was like, okay, you know what? Like, this was expected. We knew this was going to happen. Surely there's wingbacks on the way to play this system. Like, there had to have been. And then there wasn't. It's so hard to watch because we don't have bad personnel at all. Like, at all. We just don't. We can't use them. Like, it's just such a shame. Like you said, Shaden Morris, like, he's such an electric player. I think against Barnet, we saw that, but when you have these guys playing wing back, it's just a waste it's just such a waste. Like, I don't know. I'm lost. I know I sound silly because I got the American accent and all, but it really is a shame. It's a shame.
You're asking the same questions that me and Ollie have been asking for the last 2 seasons. I regardless of how long you've been following the club, we're asking the same questions. I mean, the Morris thing baffles me. I was really angry when the lineup came out. I didn't get any less angry at 3:00 and onwards either. But the fact that Shaden Morris missed out, I mean, assuming Kadua's. Did we get some reason as to why Kadua wasn't in the squad? He wasn't in the squad at all, was he?
No, he probably missed the meeting. Probably missed the meeting, didn't he?
But there was no update. Was there on why? But no. Fine. I would have played Shaden Morris ahead of him anyway. I mean, if you're going to spend that money for a player that we know is good, but he didn't even. How long did he get on the pitch for? 25 minutes, something like that. After the damage essentially had been done, that's just it's baffling. As you said, Mark, baffling.
Yeah. I didn't watch. I saw all I could see from Mengi was he got spun on one of those linking goals from the highlights. I mean, it's like a 2-minute clip, but what did you guys see from Mengi?
Premier League quality defender though, mate. Premier League quality defender.
if anyone wants to, Lincoln have put up 11 minutes of highlights on their YouTube. So,
Oh,
fill your
perfect.
boots, mate.
Perfect.
Fill your boots.
Yeah, I might skip that one, but yeah,
Don't
yeah.
blame you.
I'm genuinely lost for words because you just want to see something like, when we came into the season, I'm like, you know what? You go out against Wimbledon, you make a statement, 2-0, 3. That's what I want to see. Obviously, easier said than done. Wimbledon have a great defensive structure. They're pretty tidy for what they have for personnel, but I want to see a statement. I want to see us go to Bradford and win. That's a tough place to go. It doesn't matter the quality of the team, and obviously the quality's good. But we didn't do any of that. Like it's so confusing. With the money too, a lot of free transfers. I was really excited about the Adolphin thing. Obviously, Rotherham Play of the Year. He's got the injury. Yates. I was fine with Yates. Like he scored double figures at Derby last season. Like that's good enough. We bring in all these strikers, but what's the point? What's the point? Like none of them can finish, and the ball doesn't even get to them. From what I've seen. I mean, obviously we've had some chances. The Burton game was a good showing. But yeah, I'm lost to
That's
be honest
Burton.
with you.
They're going down, mate.
Yeah,
Burton are going
exactly.
down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that was the only game I've been like, wow, we're showing something.
Yeah,
But
we scored
Yeah,
from open play.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
Can you believe
and,
it?
and yeah, on the theme we were saying earlier, Mark, don't know whether you're listening, on the theme of players who are getting worse progressively through the season, Burton was also the point where I thought Zach Nelson might be the answer in the centre of midfield. And since I think I mentioned it on the pod, he's done nothing but have really poor games. He was poor again last 2 games.
Yeah.
But you can't be down to all of those players individually. There's got to be something else. The reason why these players are not performing, regardless, it's just
yeah.
Got to be.
And
Got to be more to it.
obviously, what do you do? Like the thing with Rob last year was a mistake. So I'm asking, what are they going to do? Like, do you sack him? Like, how long's the leash? How long is the leash? Like, what are
The manager
Oh.
doesn't matter. It doesn't. You could have a cocker spaniel managing our club. It honestly doesn't matter.
Similar.
Yeah.
It
Rob, obviously
does.
not enough. You need a manager that's not a yes man. You need a manager that'll just be strong-willed, do whatever the bloody hell he wants to do. Like Nathan Jones. I'm sure
We're not
Nathan
gonna
Jones
game,
was
are we?
like, no, of course not. But you want a manager like Nathan Jones. Who
No. I mean,
he'll
we're
be
not
like,
going to get a manager like Nathan Jones.
no,
anymore.
no, of course
Because
not. You need a
since
manager.
Nathan Jones, Gary Sweet's been changed. His personality in terms of what he will accept has changed drastically. I think
He didn't even want Nathan Jones back the second time. Mick Harford
No,
had to talk him into it.
Yeah, that's
because
right, yeah.
Sweet's ego is so bloody large. It doesn't fit another manager's ego in. That's why you need to get a manager who's willing to shrink their ego, bend over, and just let Gary Sweet have their way with him. Because there's no other type of manager, no strong character that we can have at this club. And that is what I get from Matt. He seems like a weak character. It's all very well saying, yeah, I'm a strong character in interviews. Even Rob Edwards, I feel, was a weak character because a couple of losses, like that relegation, completely destroyed him. The relegation's a part of football. Be a big boy, get over it. You're still getting a nice pay packet. Get over it. And these are weak characters we're getting. Nathan Jones wasn't weak. Nathan Jones is a big, bald motherfucker. I love him. Yeah. Right.
quite little,
Anyway, that's
actually.
the...
Don't worry.
Yeah? Well, look, he does what he wants to do. Yeah. Sorry for cutting you off, Mark.
no, not at all.
Hey,
I appreciate it.
it's good that you're here, mate. It's good that you're still...
genuinely, overseas, like I don't, hear a lot about Sweet. Obviously, I know who he is, but I don't, get that news or that. I don't know how much of an impact Sweet actually plays. Like I just don't hear about that. I don't get, these online forums that you guys have and stuff. Like I'm not as well. I mean, I watch every game and I keep up with it. Luton's a big part of my life, but I didn't realize how much of an effect Sweet had. Obviously, I know with the signing players, BS, but I didn't realize that, it really does like affect the manager like that, and who they select and whatnot. So I appreciate that.
He's the overlord, mate.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, Thank you very much for coming on, Mark.
Thanks,
We're going to
Mark.
get
Great
our
call.
next caller on. Yeah, great call. Come back anytime, mate.
Awesome. Thanks for the chat, guys. Take care.
Cheers. See you later.
Right, we got Tom Davis waiting. Should we get some more comments before we bring
Yeah,
in
I
Tom?
saw quite a few. Lots,
Sit tight, mate.
yeah, lots of people
Yeah.
really positive about Mark's comments. So yeah, Mark in America speaks for all of us. Certainly not Mark in the UK, but yeah, Trunky 123, yeah, absolutely. I had to put that one in there. But yeah, there's loads of stuff about loads of people have been asking about. Right, so do we think it's his time to go, and if so, who do we get in? My opinion this time last week was, yeah, we need to give him some more time, but I feel like that performance has fast forward his kind of call to go by about 3 times in one game. A bit like we said it before we came on, a bit like Rob Edwards with Sheffield United. So yeah, for me, I think the writing's getting close to being on the wall now, because it's going to be very difficult to turn around from those 2 performances, particularly the last one. Well, who do we get in? Well, the manager that was in the opposite dugout on Saturday is probably a good starting point, but yeah, he wouldn't be a bad shout. I know you're a fan, but yeah, at the moment, someone with a backbone, as he said, just can't see it happening.
Yeah, anyone with a backbone, essentially, they'll get overlooked. They'll get overlooked immediately, because you can't have someone with an ego come in, because Gary won't allow it.
Yeah. Chris Wilder's free in a couple of months, so yeah, hold out.
No, you know what? Like Michael Carrick, he got Middlesbrough playing some good football, but I don't think he's going to come in. No chance.
I don't think so.
It's honest. Yeah. Yeah, the only person I could see would be Nathan Jones, and there's no way he's coming.
He's not
back.
coming to us.
I know.
I
know.
No,
there's no way.
His career suicide for him, because for me, I don't think even Nathan Jones can turn around the problems. As you'd said before, goes way deeper than the manager. If he's got any sense, regardless of any affection he has for Luton, he wouldn't do that. He's doing brilliantly at Charlton. They won again at the weekend. They beat Chris Wilder's Sheffield United at Bramall Lane, for goodness sake. They're doing brilliantly. But yeah.
No, but he's the only one that would, like, sort of be like, stop it, Gary. Stop coming to the training ground, Gary. Although I don't even know if Gary ventures to the training ground. He probably does, like on his way to, the top floor of the Hilton, where the club are currently residing in their offices. Can you believe that? Taking the entire top floor of the Luton Hilton. Twats. Right, let's bring in Tom Davis. Thank you for your patience, Tom. Really appreciate you taking your time with this. Good evening.
Hello. How are you guys?
Been better, mate. How are you?
I think we've made it clear.
Question, really, innit? Yeah. But God, I mean, like Mark, American Mark, yesterday.
Yeah, don't worry.
I have to admit, I didn't watch the game. To be completely honest, I thought it was a 3 o'clock kickoff.
You saved yourself
I didn't
some
realize
real strife, mate.
I know. The way I see it is, why would I fork out 90 quid a month for Sky Sports when I pay 350 quid to watch a shower shite anyways?
100% that.
And then setting up a VPN, going finding a dodgy stream. It's more time than it's just more effort than what it's actually worth at the moment. But it's a difficult one. I personally am in the Bloomfield out camp. And it's only because I don't know. That's
always the question, isn't it?
It is the question. I don't know who we get in, to be completely honest, because I feel as if the board aren't going to make the right decision. The board, they're incapable of making any correct decisions at the moment.
By the board, you mean Gary Sweet?
Yeah.
The board don't have
Gary
a say
Sweet
in anything. Yeah, it's all Gary Sweet.
I'm going to say the board, because I don't want Gary Sweet, potentially coming after me, because he done that to one of the Luton reporters, didn't he? So on Twitter, I don't want a letter through my mailbox, but it is Gary Sweet.
I think it wasn't Gary Sweet that went after that Luton reporter. He instructs people to do things for him. It would have been Barringer, maybe Hammonds.
Gary Sweet at the end of the day, who's controlling the strings, isn't it? Really,
the puppet master.
Yeah. He is. So, but The thing with Gary Sweet, and it really ticks me off, is he, again, as everyone has said, rightfully so, he has been there and he was in the limelight when everything was going well. Now that it's going piss poor, he's not in the limelight. And what really ticked me off with him the other day was his he in the program against the Plymouth, he wrote a little thing about like the progress of the club and the board, and he was the mouthpiece of the board. And the thing that really irked me was that we made a profit in this transfer window.
Mhm.
It says
That
that in there.
happens when
We
you
made
don't spend any money.
Exactly. Why aren't we? It's a double relegation. We've gone from the Premier League, which fair enough, we expected to get relegated from the Premier League. I'm gonna, we'll write that season off. But then to go from the Premier League back down, it just shows me that there's no ambition within the club. It's 2020. They call themselves 2020 because they wanted to get us to the Premier League in 2020. They were a couple of years late, but it's fine.
It was
What
the
is the ambition now for
championship.
2030?
And they were early.
Championship, yeah.
It was the championship and a new stadium by 2020.
So now that we're
yeah.
kind of on track, I mean, actually, we're not even really on track because we still haven't got the new stadium and now we're in League One. But what is the aims for 2030? What's the aims for 2040? There is no, I don't feel like there is a plan. There is no plan within the board, and Gary Sweet doesn't really have a plan at the moment. That's my opinion.
The plan is to sell the club.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It is a good point because that was the whole point of why they were called 2020, as Tom said, is that it was all about getting us to the championship by 2020, and we exceeded it by a year. And obviously, we'd got planning permission way back in 2016, I think. I could be wrong. Might have been slightly later than that. Sorry, it might have been slightly later than 2016. But we got planning permission then as well, and we know that there were other reasons, Capital and Regional being one of them, as to why we couldn't just stick a stadium up there. But what is the plan going forward? What club do we want to be? And it would be that is hugely important as to sharing with fans what their aim is, because that would help us understand, wouldn't it, in terms of where the money's going and why the money's going. It's not being spent because, again, as Tom said rightly, why aren't we spending a load of money? I don't think we don't have to spend a load of money to get good players in, but we've clearly missed out on players because we've not been prepared to pay transfer fees over the last 12 months. Why?
And going off your point of...
Sorry, Tom. Isn't this something that you think the Luton Town Supporters Trust should be demanding accountability for? Like where the money's going? Like I know they had a look at the kit and then ended up going ahead without a white kit for the first time in the club's history.
I to be completely honest, I think the people who are very, very high up in the Supporters Trust, I think they're too scared to speak up for the club. If I'm completely honest, because I reckon the green kit was not their idea. I reckon Reflow turned around and said to Gary Sweet, we want to have a green kit because we're all about this green lifestyle. We recycle our kits, and Gary Sweet's gone, yeah, of course, and he's kind of forced it upon the Supporters Trust to accept. I don't reckon they actually really wanted to have a green kit, but that's a story for another time. But to go back onto the point about the plans, you notice a lot of clubs have 5 or 10 year plans. Every now and then they'll release a plan. I think Plymouth have a 5-year plan at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. But ever since we've basically been promoted to the Premier League and been relegated, we've had no communication as to what the board actually want to do, apart from the stadium. But the stadium we've known about for best part of 10 years now. So again, what is the plan? And it's just really frustrating because if we don't have a plan, then ideally, what can we expect as supporters?
Yeah. Well, Gary communicates the plan to his inner circle, all the people that will clap back whenever someone says, "Oh, Gary Sweet, get away from the footballing side." And he has his own WhatsApp groups. I've seen it. He has WhatsApp groups with people where he shares his thoughts and his pet peeves, and these people, they know things like the sell-on fees for certain players and what players have been signed for, etc., etc. And because they're in the inner ring, they don't share this information. And then once in a while, someone gets kicked out of the inner ring. essentially these people know what the plan is, and that's why they're all like they're all saying, "Oh, back off," because the club know what they're doing. But it's important that this is communicated outside of that in a ring, because right now, Ryman hit the nail on the head earlier. While we don't know because nothing's being communicated, we'll just fill that void with the worst, like that Gary Sweet's pocketing all the money. Gary Sweet has a fleet of Bentleys. Like we'll just fill that air with nonsense, because we're not seeing what else is happening. Gary Sweet goes and demands that this one's probably right. Gary Sweet goes and demands we play a 3-5-2 because that's what we got promoted to the Premier League with. Like, Gary Sweet commands the recruitment to do what he wants because he's addicted to Football Manager and looks at potential scores, potential ability score. Like, who knows? Who knows?
I just want to touch back on that point of where he's demanding 3-5-2. I do think that Bloomfield's interview yesterday completely screamed your point that Gary Sweet tells him what to do. Because he turned around and he said it inadvertently that, we only have one right back in the club at the moment, so we can't play back four. Why is that the case? Oh wait,
that's
because we can't be bothered to we can't be asked to buy another right back because Gary Sweet wants us to play a back five or a back three, you know. But I as much as I'm in the Bloomfield out camp, because I feel like last weekend against Plymouth, that is completely inexcusable to me, if I'm completely honest. But I do feel sorry for Bloomfield, because I feel as if he's not allowed to play the system that he played at Wickham, at Luton, because someone is telling him, no, you play the way I want you to play. And he's kind of been drawn in as a yes man.
Yeah, you get the feeling of
money
that.
talks.
You certainly do. You certainly get that feeling.
Yeah.
The problem is then how long is it going to last this time, right? Because this is deja vu all over again. So let's be honest, it doesn't look like things are going to suddenly magically turn around. We've got tough few fixtures coming up. For me, Stevenage is the writing on the wall. That I think for most people it probably is. We're getting turned over there at the moment. I can't see us getting a result against Stevenage. And that precedes an international break. I can't see the board doing it, regardless. I don't think it'll be as late as Rob, but I can't see him doing it.
I was going to say, well, with Rob, he should have gone after the Middlesbrough game. Everyone, I don't think I've seen Luton Twitter that united again in an opinion of a manager going, and they didn't do it until QPR. Was it QPR away? January 6th or 7th or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So that's 2 months, and within those 2 months, the writing was on the wall already. I think if we don't sack Bloomfield, which the thing is, right, it's a tough one, because I've just turned around and said I don't think Bloomfield's allowed to play his I don't think he's allowed to play the formation he was allowed to play at Wickham, because someone's telling him, no, you play the way that we got promoted to the Premier League with. But in the next breath, I do feel like he's not making the correct changes, like substitutions. I wouldn't be able to think of it at the top of my head, but there have been a few times where he's was it Nordas? I think a couple of games ago he subbed Nordas
for 5
about
minutes
3 minutes. He brought Cohen Bramall on a defender when we're losing the game. Which I don't mind if you're going to push players up, but it just didn't work with the system. And again, I'll say it for the last time this evening, didn't start Shaden Morris. If you're playing a back three, at least play the right players for that system. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so there's only so much you can blame upon the higher ups, but Bloomfield, and also as well, what really ticked me off about his interview yesterday, the thing that made me the most angry, was that he turned around and said, "Today's not the time for talking. Monday is." That just tells me that the manager has no control over the dressing room whatsoever. If a manager is too scared to turn around at the end of a game after an embarrassing loss and chew out his team and say that was fucking pathetic, then he's pathetic himself.
Yeah, agree. Couldn't agree more. Exactly that.
He should have gone into that changing room and he should have given them a bollocking. But he's like, oh no, Monday will be when we do our talking, and yet. As he said, Christ Makoso, he didn't turn up to the meeting prior to the game. So if he's going to have a meeting about standards of the club and how we're playing, and players aren't turning up, what fucking use is that to the team? What use is that in general?
It did more damage playing a half-fit Mengi.
Yeah,
Or
Makoto,
half-assed.
bless. But how old's Makoto?
21.
21.
21, right? So he's a year older than me. I'm 20, and I do daft things all the fucking time. So when you're 21, you do daft things. If he's playing on the pitch, if Makoto's proving his worth on the pitch, you still play him regardless. Yes, discipline issues, yada yada yada. But he seems quite disciplined on the pitch, so I'd rather
did
have
against
Makoto
Peterborough.
start. Yeah. But yeah. I remember I went to the Peterborough away game, and it did look a bit nasty. But most of the time, apart from that, he seems quite disciplined on the pitch. He seems like a relatively decent defender. I would definitely rather play him over Mengi, who, to be completely honest, I don't think he wants to be at the club, and I don't think he's particularly wanting to be fully recovered so he can play for the club. I'd rather play someone who's not turning up to a meeting because he's being a bit daft than someone who really doesn't want to play for the club at all.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Look, I think there's a way to have your cake and eat it here, right? I'm okay actually with the discipline of Makoto. But I'm not okay with him coming out and saying it. So I'm okay with him doing it. I think those things, as was said on the chat, should be kept in house. But there's a way to have both. Naismith is a central defender, Longwick is a central defender, Anderson is a central defender. And if you play speed on either side of those, then the fact that you haven't got as much pace shouldn't be as much of a problem, and it solves the problem anyway of playing wing backs. I think that it's just the pushing Mengi for the second time he's done this. The first time he did it was against West Brom. How did that go? How did Mengi playing against West Brom out of nowhere go for us? Just in case we've forgotten. It's that more than anything that's frustrating, more than the Makoto, and then him coming out and saying it. Like he's trying to, don't blame me, this happened. It's so weak, as Ollie was saying. It's such a weak characteristic not to just say, my decision, that's what I decided to do, and I'll live by it. Rather than trying to go, it's not my fault, you turned up late for a meeting. What do you want me to do?
It reminds me of when Troy Deeney chewed out Fankety Darbo at Forest Green Rovers. A little bit. When Troy Deeney
was awful. Yeah, that was awful.
That was awful. And Bloomfield's just done that to Makoto, who's he's 21, he's young. Fair enough. He should be adhering to more professional standards, but he's young. He's more likely, as he gets older, he's going to be more disciplined.
It's not going to help.
Like you saw it from Millie Ali's video. Like he's eating like a mountain of burgers and chips. Like he's 21. He's obviously he doesn't understand about discipline. Like I can't imagine Jordan Clark like sitting there chowing down on burgers and chips. 21-year-olds, they're idiots.
Well, that's literally what I was going to say. Again, when you guys were 21, you probably done
mate,
things.
Yeah, I'm delighted YouTube wasn't around when I was 21.
Honestly, I mean, I'm
They're
20 and I still think
electricity at this point.
but I can forgive him just purely based on the age. If Makoto was 25, 26 and still acting like that, it's a different story.
I think it speaks to the culture of the team as well, mate. Like you're 21-year-olds, your younger players, they emulate the culture of the team, right? That's where this comes from as well. That it comes from the top downwards. If you haven't got the leaders in this squad, if you haven't got the right culture, then your young players are the first players likely to be doing this stuff. Just look at how Man U have been over the last however many years with their young players and how it's impacted them. And very different example, but exactly the same problem. If you've got a toxic culture at the club, it will stem from there. And that's
going to take
worry,
years
right?
to recover from this. It's going to take years and years and years.
The thing that going back to the toxic culture of the club, the thing that really ticks me off, right, is Pelly Ruddock and Pandu. I'm not slating him at all, but let's not go down that route. I'm not going to slate him. In fact, it's going to be positive. I was going to turn around and say, if you want a proper leader within that team, you want someone who understands what it is to play for Luton. You'd keep our longest serving player, who went from the National League all the way up to the Premier League. with you, regardless of whether he's going to play or not. You know, just primarily for the influence role to try and get the Luton back in that team, and yet we fucking sold him to Cambridge. That also it ticks me off just because again, Pelly was Mr. Luton. Whether he had a good game on the pitch or whether he had a shit game on the pitch doesn't matter. He knew what it was to play for our club. And you want these players to play for our club, so you get rid of the only figure who could potentially influence a changing room that way. It just doesn't sit right with me.
I don't know. It was time for Pelly to go. It was time for Pelly to go. There are enough other people at the club that can give that influence. Alex Lawless, Paul Benson. There are loads of people that are Luton. Joe Deeney, like Leon Barnett's there for like commentary all the time. There are loads of people that have been around. Simon Oxley's been around the club since bloody 1992. You know, if players want to seek out what it is to be a Luton, I do admit we're missing that sort of personality in the changing room. And Jordan Clark's been with the club for a while now, and he certainly doesn't seem the type to, you know, give players a good old kick in the bollocks, but and force people up against walls. He's not a leader. We are missing leaders. That is a big part of it. But at the same time, I see, you know, saying people in the comments saying Makosa's actions had negative effects on that game. So okay, so he gets penalised for being late to a game. Where are the ramifications for the players that have stunk out that game? Where's their punishment? That's what I don't understand.
Exactly. You know, it's almost as if, right, so Bloomfield has cut off his nose to spite his own face. He's cut off a player who could have potentially improved our performance, and we've had an absolute shocker instead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tom, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
We've run late. Yeah, come back anytime, mate. Anytime.
Yeah, great call.
All right, have a good evening, lads.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Right, that is probably enough, isn't it, Ryman?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll have to save some for next week.
Yeah, well, just to share what I wrote to you earlier before we go. So the way I don't think Bloomfield's going anywhere. I think we're going to be in the same rut that we were with Rob Edwards. The difference being Bloomfield's probably far cheaper to sack than Edwards was. So I think we beat Doncaster. Job is safe. Lose to Blackpool. Job under threat. Lose to Stevenage. Job under threat. Cambridge, EFL trophy. We win. And then happy days. Lose to Huddersfield. It all comes down to Mansfield. We beat Mansfield. Then we beat Northampton. We beat Brighton under 21s. It's all sunshine and rainbows. And then we lose to Stockport. And it all comes down to Rotherham. And, you know, well, part 2 coming later. And I just feel it will probably get to January until we actually do anything. But until Gary Sweet is displaced from the football side and genuinely displaced from the football side, and a manager is left to their own devices and communicate with the recruitment staff, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. We're just going to keep treading water in League One, possibly even flirt with League Two. Who knows? Yeah.
Joey.
Concluding remarks. Yeah.
All of that. I think we're all sick of the toxicity at the club. It was mentioned earlier. People had said it. We're all sick of it. Nobody wants it. Absolutely nobody pays their money to go and boo a team at the end because of terrible performances. I think the fans had absolutely every right to do so at the end of the game on Saturday and against Plymouth as well. But nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to pay that money and see that happen. We all desperately miss seeing Luton as a team, and that includes fans as well, and just want any sign that might change. That's it. But so far, like you said, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. It's like poetry. It rhymes. I love that you use what I said at the beginning at the end. It's absolutely wonderful. Well, we'll see you all for the midweek catch up. Hopefully we'll get some thoughts from Phil and Wedge about what they think. I can't think that they'll think anything different from what we think, but
I'll be surprised.
Colour me surprised. Everyone, thank you very much for getting involved in the comments. It's been fantastic. Thank you to everyone watching back. And enjoy what's left of the rest of the weekend. Well, it's almost done. Just the last
5 minutes.
hour and a half of it. Yeah. And have a great week, everyone. Most importantly, come on, you Hatters.